Okay, today we're looking at dividing a unit fraction. Let me see. We're going to divide a unit fraction by a whole number. So a unit fraction is a fraction with 1 for the numerator. So a unit fraction would be 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, etc. And a whole number being 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So we are going to be dividing unit fractions by whole numbers. So we've done this before where we've divided a whole number by a unit fraction. So that kind of looked a little something like 3 divided by 1/2, and you start with 3 whole, and each of these you divide into 1/2 pieces, and it's asking you how many 1/2 pieces do you have. And what we're going to do today is going to be a little bit different. We're going to start with the fraction. So the fraction is 1/2, and we're going to divide by 3. So what this is saying is that, again, now I'm starting with 1/2. So remember, 1/2 is part of a whole. So I'm starting with 1/2, and I want to divide this into 3 pieces. And what I have to divide both sections into 3 pieces. What is the value of each piece? So what is the value of each piece? And so the value of each piece would be, if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces total, it would be 1/6, right? So here you have 6 pieces that are 1/2. Here, what we're looking at is each piece of 1/2 divided by 3 is valued at 1/6. Okay, so here's our focus point for today. And this is what we did in class on Zoom. So this should be a really easy, quick reminder of what we do. So I'm going to show you. We start out with 1/3. We start off with 1/3, and we're going to split 1/3 into 2. And it's what is the value of each of those pieces. So we start out, because it's a fraction, this is the whole. We start out with 1/3. So I'm going to shade in 1/3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split each third in half. What is the value of one of those pieces? And it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 1/6. And so what we do is, mathematically, we're going to change 2 into a fraction. So it's 2/1. And really how we get 1/6 is we end up multiplying, right? So we end up multiplying by 1/2. Okay? Next, we have 1/3. So we're going to start with 1/3, and we're going to split 1/3 into 4 pieces now. So here's my 1/3 again. I'm going to shade it in because this is what I start with. And remember, this is out of a whole. And now I'm going to split this into 4 equal pieces. But I have to split each third into 4 equal pieces. And my question is, what is the value of one of these little pieces? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, the value would be 1/12. So mathematically what we're doing here, right, 1/12. What we're doing here is we're multiplying. And we're going to change 4 to a fraction, 4/1. But really, we have to flip it, right? So we're multiplying 1/3 times 1/4, and that gives us 1/2, right? Like that was 1/6. Okay, 2 more problems. Next, we're going to work with fourths. Okay, so we're going to start with 1/4 in both of our problems. I'm going to start with 1/4. So here is 1/4. And I shade my 1/4 in green, and 1/4 is out of a hole. And now I want to divide this by 2. So I'm simply going to take this 1/4 and split it in half. But I need to split each of the fourths in half. My question is, what is the value of this one piece? Well, it's 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you should get 1/8. And mathematically, what we're going to do here is we're multiplying. And what are we multiplying? Well, we're going to change 2/1 into actually 1/2. So we're multiplying 1/4 times 1/2 equals 1/8. So that's the rule. We're going to multiply and we're going to flip that fraction over. And if it's a whole number, we need to create that fraction. Last problem. Again, we have 1/4. So I'm going to split my tape diagram into fourths. I'm going to shade in 1/4. And now what I want to do is split it into 3. So I'm going to divide by 3 each section of fourths. And I want to know what the value of this piece is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The value would be 1/12. Okay, mathematically, how does it work? Well, we're multiplying. But we're not multiplying by 3. We need to get that 3 into the denominator. So we actually flip the fraction. So we're multiplying by 3/1. So 1/4 times 1/3 equals 1/12. Good luck with your problem set.